you're still struggling to play songs, chances are you're making one or more of these 5 common beginner mistakes. And if you don't fix these mistakes, playing songs is going to feel like an uphill battle. All right, let's get into it. These common beginner mistakes I've discovered over the last 12 years of teaching small group classes to adult beginners, and they are detrimental to the way that you learn, practice, and play songs. All right, so let's cover them one by one so you can check them off and fix these so they're gone for good. Beginner mistake number 1, it's posture. Now, let me just say this before we get into how to solve this. I understand you're just learning. The hands aren't moving correctly. They haven't got the dexterity in them. So everything feels awkward and not refined, and that's natural. But here's a couple of things that you may be doing that if you stop doing them will help you learn a lot better. Now, I'm not talking technique here. All right, that's another subject for another video, but I'm just talking about ways that you can help promote that technique. All right, so our posture. All right, I see a lot of beginner players, especially men, like they're sitting on a stool and they're playing their guitar, but with the arm on their thigh. All right, and that's just limiting the movement that they need to do. Even that, if that's just there, it just limits the movement. So what you want to do is sit upright in your chair, obviously a chair with no arms on it, and think like a T. All right, so your back's nice and straight, your shoulders are nice and flat across the top. Yes, it's going to be a little bit harder to see what you're going to do because you don't want to be bent over and lifting your guitar up to see where it is. You'll get used to this, all right, and you'll train your ear to think, oh, well, that's not right, or that is right. But posture is a key. For long-term benefits, it is essential that you look at it now, because I went too many years hunched over like this, and it's really hurt my back long-term. All right, so you've got to be really conscious, and everything that we're talking about today will be just by awareness that you're actually doing it. All right, so the best way is just sit up nice and straight in your chair, shoulders on a horizontal plane, and then just play your guitar like that. All right, you're not looking over, you're not hunched down, you're not got your arm on your thigh like that. And another good way to do it is, of course, when we're playing like this, for posture wise, like quite often if you've got your guitar on your right leg, opposite if you're a left-hander of course, if you've got your guitar on your right leg, it's generally the guitar is kicked out away from the body, so you have to stretch further, and that puts pressure on your wrist, so you're out further away from the body. What you want is this guitar over this side but kicked up, and how we do that is like you can get like a guitar footstool and place it underneath your opposite leg. All right, so if you're right-handed, it'll be your left leg, and vice versa if you're left-handed. All right. And that's just going to kick the guitar up, and you're going to put this part right on your thigh there, and so it kicks it up, and this way it keeps it in close to your body, so you're not stretching right out there. The guitar is up, so you can actually see it better because you're not going to be like leaning over it like you were here and trying to kick it back, but like it's just up, and the beauty, it takes the pressure off the wrist. But getting back to where most people have their arm on their thigh, this just frees this arm up and keeps it nice and relaxed. So like if you're thinking like it may feel uncomfortable right at the start, and that's normal, but I can guarantee all of my students that I've taught this to, it's taken about a week, maybe 2, and then they find it's hard to go back to the other side because that feels really uncomfortable. But this helps them get a better technique going for their chords, also for the strumming. All right, so that's posture. Keep it T, look to your body, kick your guitar up, preferably place it on the left leg. And if you're a female, hey, you can cross your legs over and place it up just so it's kicked up like that. You'll find that your playing will improve and your back and your spine will thank you for it. All right, beginner mistake number 2, and one of the most common ones anyway, is playing open chords. And you're going to go, what That's what every chord book does, every YouTube video promotes is playing open chords. And open chords are great. They sound great, nice and full, very rich. You'll hear them in all the songs you play, granted. However, as an adult coming into this, you've had decades where this hand, all your hands have been doing many different things besides the guitar. And now you're coming into the guitar and the hand is not designed to play guitar, it's designed to hold, grip and pull things, and that's what we don't do on the guitar, but we've got to put them into funny shapes. So it depends on what your profession has been over the past several decades. This hand's not going to be as dexterous, whatever it is, as it needs to be yet. It will grow and develop. All right, so open chords, they're going to be big stretches, like the C open chord, 3 frets apart, fingers wide apart to get close to behind the fret. And then that's just getting it there, and then you've got to make it sure that none of the strings are buzzy or anything like that. So all open chords, big stretches, most of them. If not big stretches, crazy fingered gymnastics to change and switch between them. All right, and so this makes playing songs really, really hard to get going. All right, I'm not going to say not work on open chords, but here's my suggestion. All right, I have 4 easy change chords. People call them different names, but like the G, C, E minor, D shapes. And I've talked about them in other videos, and I'll put the link to another video here. But like those chords, because these 2 fingers, are planted, and they don't move between those 4 chords, it's basically 1 or 2 fingers that you need to move to start playing songs. All right. Whereas open chords, it's either 3 fingers, maybe 4, depending on the chord, and you got to move all around a lot of different ways to actually sound it. These ones, it's just 1 finger, all right? And while your hand is getting that accuracy and dexterity, nimbleness develops, all right, you can play these easy change chords, start playing multiple different songs, and while you're working on the open chords. So the way I teach my students is I get them up and running with 20 or so different songs that they can play with these easy change chords. But in the meantime, we're working on 1 or 2 chords at a time, and then I will alternate and put them in. But like, I've had students for months like struggle with just getting a C chord, and guess where a C chord comes in most of the songs that you want to play. So if you can't play that, or you're stopping and changing, stopping and starting, I should say, between while you're strumming to change into the chords, it doesn't make the chord that, doesn't make the song very much fun to play. And you've got to get disheartened, and unfortunately a lot of people do lose interest in it. But these easy change chords gives you really quick wins, especially in your first few months. And then you just slowly, once the hand starts building some strength in it, you introduce the open chords as you go. Plus another tip, another good one about these easy change chords, it allows us to work on this side, where all magic is. All right. The next common mistake I see beginners make is their choice of guitar pick. Now, most beginners unknowingly at the start just grab any pick that they can get their hands on, and most times this pick is way too thick. All right, it's a very firm pick, and it doesn't allow for good motion, strumming motion to develop. All right, the reason is because it sounds clunky against the string, and when you come back up for the up strum, it catches on this top E string here, and they start creating something motion just to avoid that. All right, and we're not even talking about the amount of times that this falls around, flies out of their fingers, moves around while they're strumming, because the other one is, it's a very strange material, very, it's not nylon, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a very flimsy sort of material as well. but it's plastic. They feel awful. But what I found works best for people is a Jim Dunlop 0.60 millimeter. Now these ones are very flexible, which is good for strumming up and down and getting that motion going. They're not clunky because they flex against the strings and just makes the transitions from down up that much smoother. Right, and the good thing is they don't get caught on that top E string. So they're quieter, but they just allow for good development to start. And the added benefit is they've got little raised things around where you put your thumb and fingers, and that just helps keep that grip better. All right, now picks are going to change as you're going to change. All right, so you're not going to stay with this pick forever. Personally, I cannot use them now. They just feels awkward for me. But back in the day, I didn't know about these when I was starting to learn. So I was using like a 0.75 millimeter pick. Right, that's a good start if that's okay. But you probably find to get this strumming motion going, it might be better if you come back to a softer, more flexible pick. One caveat on that is, like, as good as they are for strumming, if you're planning to do some arpeggiated, that sort of thing, or you've got a riff in there or something, or even if you're doing a boom chuck type strum, you might find these are a little bit too soft for that, because you're not going to get that feedback, that response when you hit those strings, right, with the soft pick. So you might want to consider using a couple of size picks. One, just straight strumming songs, campfire style songs. This 60mm pick is going to work great. If you want to do something like Wish You Were Here, sorry, see, that's the pick that was there. You might want to like a 0.75 as well, something a little bit like a Tortex material, something a little bit firmer, but don't go up to a millimeter right now. It'll be just too clunky, too abrasive until you get your strumming motion refined. Now the next beginner mistake I see is, like, this is not so, it's sort of like learned behavior, this one. It's not something that is taught or you just fall into it by default. All right, and what I'm talking about is being stuck on the sheet of music. All right, I think it's human nature that we want to play things from top to bottom and just prove to ourselves and others that we can actually do it, and that's the goal. We want to do that, but like, by looking at this sheet, you're taking in way too much information at once, and it doesn't allow you to retain it up here because you're going to be always reliant on the sheet. So my suggestion is take it in small chunks. So take it in like 4 measures if you can. If you can't do that, cut it back down half, like 2 measures, and work from there, because the most important thing is not the sheet music. All right, that's there as a guide to say this is what you got to do. All right, but it's how you place your fingers. All right, are they too far away from the fret? Are they close to the fret? Is your if you're doing chords, is your fingers back bent? Like, when the brain is focused on that sheet music, it's not picking up any of these other things that get in the way of you playing songs. All right, and we want to overcome these things so playing songs doesn't feel like that uphill battle. All right, so you gotta spend more time over here than on the sheet music. So take it in a small chunk. All right, 2 chords, 4 chords, whatever is in that 4 measures, and just work on that over and over. So you just pick something that you can remember. You might have to say that a few times over, of course, before you actually play it, and then just keep playing that. And if you forget, hey, look back, remind yourself what's on that section that you're learning, and then bring your attention back over here, here, and here. Don't neglect this side as well, because another thing that is when beginners play all the 6 strings for a D chord. All right, so you're going to have to spend a bit of time on this hand as well as this hand. Now, if you are right-handed, this is your strong hand, of course. I'm stating the obvious, I should say. But the good thing is, it still needs attention, but not as much attention as your fretting hand. All right, so if you were to spend several minutes each practice session, just focus on looking at your pick and your hand and the amount of strings that you're striking when you strike those chords, it's going to make a huge difference in a few weeks. All right, that everything's going to start sounding better. But it's just a few minutes here because it's our dominant hand. It doesn't need as much attention, and then you can focus more over here. But if you're blindly strumming all 6 strings for every chord that you're playing or changing to, hey, we got to fix that as well. All right, but the subject is sheet music. If you're stuck there, you're not going to be picking these things up. All right, so get off the sheet music, the tab, chord chart, whatever you're using, the computer screen, and focus on what you actually have to play, because that's where the music comes from. Learning songs is why we picked up the guitar in the first place. We didn't learn it to play a bunch of scales, do exercises, or anything like that, recite the music theory book, anything like that. It's to play songs, and playing songs is where the fun is. Now, when you're learning a song for the first time, you've got your sheet music there, whatever it may be, the first thing you want to do is chunk it down, all right, and then play it slow, but do like what I call a raw run through. And what I mean by that is you're just getting the chords and making sure that you know which chord you got to go to next, not in any particular time or anything like that. Okay, so it's just making sure. Okay, so if I was doing Brown Eyed Girl, for example, I've got a G, I've got a C, I've got a G, and then a D for the verse. Okay, and I'm just going to do that till this hand knows what it's got to do. Then I'm going to put a little bit of extra time with it. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And work that up until I can add the strumming pattern. Okay? All right. So that wasn't exactly Brown Eyed Girl, but you get the picture. So when you know all those things, the big mistake happens for beginners that just keep going back and learning more, which is good, but what I suggest is putting the song on and playing along with it. Now, back when I first started learning back in 1983, there was no slowdown or apps or anything like that. It was just, here's the record, try and pick it up and play along. And it made it, you know, I was never blessed with a musical ear to begin with, and those things made it very hard just to try and keep up and do. Now, with modern technology, we can slow songs down, all right? So Amazing Slowdown app is great for that, where you can slow it down and loop the section that you've just learned, that 4 measures. But like by playing along with the song, it helps keep you accountable, gets you developing a good groove and sense of time. Whereas just playing on our own, we don't get any of that. So you want that accountability, because eventually you want to be able to play with other musicians as well, like whether it's around the campfire or you're jamming with your friends on the weekend, whatever it may be. All right, so play along with the song. The tool that I like is Jam Zone. It's great because we can loop a particular part of the song while still keeping counting going on. So you've got the counting that you can highlight, and then you can pick whatever section of the song that you want to learn, whether it be the chorus or whatever, and you can have that set up on a loop and just go around and keep practicing it over and over and over again. All right, then when you get that loop done, hey, you add either the previous section that you worked on or you work on another section. But like having that song there just helps you get everything that's meant to be going. All right, so you're working on the strum pattern, you're working on as a default byproduct is you're working on your rhythm and timing as well, your chord changes, and it feels like you're jamming along with your musical heroes there as well. So that's, I can't recommend it enough. If you're not playing along with the song, start today, get an app and start doing it. You can even slow YouTube down, right? Slow it down to like 75% in the settings wheel and just play it at 75% speed, right? Either way, YouTube, Amazing Slowdowner app, or Jam Zone, whichever you prefer, hey, use it. It's going to change the way that you practice and play guitar. Okay, so they're the 5 most common beginner mistakes, and I want to add one more for you. All right, this is not a mistake that I personally don't teach this, because I know it can be a big rabbit hole for people to go down, and they can get lost, overcome by it, very confused by it, and that's learning music theory when you don't know how to play songs. Right? So if you're at that stage where you're still struggling to play songs, forget the theory, right? Let's get the motions that need to make this music move, right? Good strumming motion, good chord changes, playing in time. Get those things going, learn a bunch of songs, because only then will the music theory make sense. And my point, case in point, is like when you learn to talk, you were just trying to copy what people are saying, right? Nobody said to you, hey, this is an adjective, this is a verb, all right? And if you do it like this, you'll get a better sentence or anything like that, all right? Essentially, that is what music theory is, all right? You do not have to learn it straight away. And, you know, honestly, if you're an adult beginner right now and all you want to do is just play songs for fun around the campfire, at a party, or whatever it may be, do you really need to know theory? Possibly not, right? It doesn't hurt, and it just adds appreciation to what you know. But if you don't know a song yet, or a dozen songs, or 20 songs, it doesn't make sense, right? You've got nothing to relate it to. So leave the theory alone, okay? And come back to it later if you choose to. And that's just like learning how to read music as well. Don't get caught up in that. It can take a long time to develop, so it's fluent, and it just gets in the way of you playing songs. So leave the theory, leave the sheet music reading out of it, and just play songs. And if you're looking to play songs either around the campfire or backyard party, hey, check out my Ultimate 4-Chord Songbook. I think you're really going to like it. It's just 10 easy campfire songs for adult beginners. And what it is each song is broken down into bite-sized short little videos, all right? It's like I'm sitting there one-on-one with you, going through the song at your own pace. All right, so you just click the video, watch that, and then stop the video. Don't go on, and then just keep going over learning what you have to on the song. All right, there's no theory in there. It's just purely, this is what we got to do to play this song. All right. The good thing is you get a 1-page chord chart, so you're not focused on reams and reams of paper. Like, you know, if you go and purchase a tab, song tab, or just get it off Ultimate Guitar or whatever it may be, hey, it can be pages and pages long. Very confusing, very overwhelming for the mind. 1-page chord chart, nice and simple to use, and you just read it like a page of a book. And each song is just 4 chords or less, using my easy change chord shapes. Well, they're not mine, I've just coined that term, easy change. All right, everybody's chords. All right, so, but like, I've just kept it simple so you can get some wins on the board. And some people start playing their first song in under an hour. All right, so these easy change chords, great for getting this hand developed like we spoke about earlier, great for getting the strumming going as well, and they're fun songs to play. So when people say, hey, yeah, I see you're learning guitar, play me something, you'll be able to play them something. You're not going to bust out a scale that nobody knows what it is, or it doesn't sound musical. It's just fun, and they'll just get to sing along while you play, which, you know, as a bonus, takes the pressure off you, because they're having fun, enjoying themselves, and you're just there playing the music. all right, with confidence. And to get the 4-chord songbook, just click this link or the one in the description below this video, and it's free and you can just go through it at your own pace and have fun with it. All right, I look forward to seeing you there. And as an adult beginner, if you want to know how you can just pick up your guitar and just play, hey, watch this video. It's going to set you on the right track, and you might be surprised it's a lot easier than you think. All right, I'll see you on the next one.